Michigan State University's Office of K-12 Outreach, bringing research, innovation, and best practices to educators across Michigan, the United States, and the world.
So, what advice would you give?
I think it's really important to have purpose, and it can be.
Welcome back to the Eloquent Educator's Women's History Month feature, where we have Dr. Jacqueline Gardner to answer some questions. So, just tell us a little bit about your career and your educational journey.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Gardner. I am the Director of Data and Evaluation for the Office of K-12 Outreach in the College of Education at Michigan State University. And I got into education many years ago after pursuing a career path that I didn't actually end up liking. And I was taking some classes on psychology, and I got into data and psychology and education, and I ended up completely changing the direction that I was going, getting a degree in higher education and adult learning from the University of Michigan. And then I eventually got a job here in the College of Education. I was hired by Dr. Barbara Markle, and I worked with Dr. Neelam Kher, who I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit later. And I've been in this role ever since. I started as just an academic specialist, and as I pursued my Ph.D. and continued working, I earned a degree in education policy, a Ph.D. in education policy, and that brought me to where I am today.
Awesome. So did you have any influential women throughout your adventure in education that helped influence your decision-making?
I think that there have been two main influential women in my education career path. The first would be my mom, of course. So my mom worked when she had two young kids. She's always worked full-time and instilled the value of working and women working being in the workplace and working hard and just making her career one of her priorities in addition to her family. When we were growing up, education was also very important to her, so she made time to make sure my sister and I had time for our homework, pursuing things academically, challenging ourselves, and she's actually still working full-time to this day. And the other person is my mentor, who I mentioned earlier, Dr. Neelam Kher. I feel like she took a chance on me when she hired me in 2012 when we were still feeling a big fallout from a recession, and I was desperately looking for a job, and she decided to take me on she hired me as somebody to work with her and under her, and I basically have everything that I know about education and about data and evaluation. I feel like I learned from her, and she was an excellent mentor and just really pushed me to be a better person.
That's awesome. Do you think that having a mentor is critical to success in this field?
Absolutely. I think that mentors, they teach you things that you wouldn't learn from just sitting at a desk job. They show you grace when you make a mistake. They give you opportunities to learn. They give you challenging tasks to perform on so that you can grow as an individual. And they recognize your successes and your failures, and you end up becoming a better person. And without that kind of feedback from a mentor, I don't think you learn as much. So yes, I do think mentors are very important.
Mm-hmm. What are some of your prouder career achievements?
Some of my prouder career achievements. I'm very proud that I earned my Ph.D. I did it while I was working full-time. And it was a lot of work, but
That's
I was
impressive.
Thank you. I was really committed to doing that, and I feel like I was very successful in doing that. And then a few other things that I'm really proud of. I'm really proud that I'm in the position that I'm in and that I get to work with a team of wonderful people, both full-time employees and students. I really enjoy the aspect of working with students on my job because I think it's important for our next generation, the young generation, to learn how to work in a workplace, and I am happy to be kind of modeling and teaching them, hopefully, although I don't always do my best. I try my best, but sometimes I might come up short, but I really do try my best to set a good example. And the other thing that I'm really proud of is I have a recent project that I'm super passionate about. It was somewhat connected to my dissertation, but a separate project on the educator workforce, and it was kind of like my first big research grant project that I got to be a part of, and I learned so much along the way with other collaborators, and I'm really proud of the work that we did. It's still kind of ongoing, but I'm hoping to be able to do similar things in the future because it was a lot of fun, and now I feel like I have a good groundwork to continue that sort of work.
Nice. So do you think that having women to look up to during your adventure professionally was something that contributed to your success?
Oh, absolutely. I think that in education, a lot of educators tend to be females, and they're teaching me, they're teaching our children, they're kind of forging the path for the next generation, and I think it's amazing that more often than not, these individuals tend to be females, and they're really hard workers, and I think sometimes educators don't get the respect that they deserve. And I would like to see them get even more respect, more accolades, because I feel like they are the ones that are really making our world successful.
Yeah. What do you think are some challenges that women specifically face in this field or just professionally in general?
Oh, I think there are so many challenges. I think that sometimes it's hard. Sometimes women aren't taken as seriously as men, or they have to really fight for their voice to be heard or for people to believe what they're saying. I think that it is especially difficult for women to have a family and also work full-time and still achieve at high levels when you have a family at home, because when you have a family at home, you're working multiple full-time jobs. It's a full-time job to be a mom and a wife and, keeping up with the kids in the house, and then also trying to work a full-time job and succeed and achieve. And a lot of the home pressures or the home demands do fall on the woman's shoulders. And that means that we might not be able to put in the same kind of hours as our male counterparts. And I don't think our society is yet equal in viewing men and women the same at both the workplace and in the home. I think that's a challenge for men as well. So being able to be successful, to reach goals while having a family is still really challenging today.
Mm-hmm. How do you think that you have contributed to uplifting and helping other women in your career advance their own careers?
Oh gosh, that one's tricky. I do my best to support ideas, even if they're crazy ideas, encourage other females that I'm working with to either pursue a job that they might want to apply to or pursue an advanced degree that they might want to do. I will, say I'm happy to help you in any way. I'll do letters of recommendation if there's anybody that I can talk to on your behalf to, if you need somebody to vouch for you. I really want to support women. I also think it's important to recognize the good work that they're doing and to acknowledge that work is not your only thing in your life. Everybody comes to the workplace with, baggage or things that they're dealing with. And I think it's important to acknowledge that too, and to make sure everyone has the space, not just women, but everybody has the space to have a bad day or to take a breather if they need a breather, because that's going to make them more successful and a better employee or a better coworker. And I think it's also important to have the conversations, what can I do better as a supervisor, as a leader? What can make your work experience better? And just being open and frank and communicative so that both women and men have a place to express how they're feeling about their roles and their jobs.
Yeah, definitely. So what advice would you give to someone like me, a woman who is up and coming in their career and trying to get their footing in all of this?
I think it's really important to have purpose, and it can be really hard when you're just fresh out of college to know what your purpose is. I definitely struggled with that, and I pursued a career path which I was not passionate about. So passion is part of having purpose, but to find your purpose, you would need to find something that you love to do, that you know well, that kind of plays to your strengths, and that gives you like a lot of value and meaning, and you leave feeling fulfilled at the end of the day. And it might take you a while to get to that point. I wouldn't expect it to happen overnight, and it comes with a lot of trial and error and patience and diligence and hard work. But with the ultimate goal of finding purpose in your career and in your life, I think that you can be very fulfilled and happy, which is, to me, the ultimate goal is being happy. And sometimes your purpose is, if you find the right purpose, you should be rewarded both emotionally, mentally, but financially in a way that you can sustain the lifestyle that you want as well.
I'm going to write that down. So what are your hopes and aspirations for the impact of women in the coming years?
Oh, man. I think women have come such a long way, not because they weren't already there, but because society is slowly shifting to recognize and acknowledge them. Women have always been strong, smart, passionate individuals. It's just taken a really long time for them to get the respect that they deserve and to be acknowledged as the powerhouses that they are. So I would like to continue to see our society to evolve and to really respect women, whether they're a homemaker, whether they're a CEO, whether they're a president, the whole spectrum, because I've said this a million times. I think the hardest job in the world is being a parent. And the women who stay at home with their kids probably work harder than a lot of the CEOs that are out there. And I think that they all deserve the respect that they've earned. But society is going to have to continue to shift, because I don't think we're quite to where we need to be yet related to that. And I would like to see, obviously, more women in leadership roles. To see what they can do, how different it might be. And maybe it won't be different, but it would be great to see some women in leadership roles, whether it's at a university or it's at the nation level. I would just like to see more women in leadership roles.
Yeah, definitely, like taking up space. Mm-hmm. All right, well, I think that's all the time we have today. Thank you for answering my questions, Jacqueline.
Thanks, Allie.